Hello friends, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Turkey. We are continuing on our coastal Turkey tour with my friend Taylan Tajbazi, who is a fantastic tour guide. And today he has brought us to the ancient Greek site of Pergamon. Now this is both Greek and Roman and was one of the most important cities in the ancient Greek world. In fact, we were just talking about how the father of psychology comes from here. Socrates was here once. There's a lot of famous characters that you know of from Greek history that came to Pergamon. The most famous thing about Pergamon, though, is the altar of Zeus, which the Germans unfortunately took, so we just have a base now. Fantastic. Up there you can see a Roman temple to Trajan, who was one of the great builder emperors. He lived around the year 100 AD, and he built tons of civic buildings throughout the Roman Empire and expanded the empire to its greatest extents. But then down here, what I wanted to show you, we'll go join my group in just a second. Look at this, how it's built on a cliff like this, as all good Greek cities should be, so that you can get prospect and also the wind. Come with me over here and look. Isn't that incredible? A beautiful Greek theater clinging to the edge of the cliff. And then down in the valley, if you look real carefully down here, you can see the aqueducts. And the aqueducts actually were connected to a healing center that was down in the area of the valley below. Down below here is a little ruin for a temple of Bacchus, Dionysus, which is very funny because that is attached, as you can see, to the theater. So, you know, people don't change. Humans still like going to the theater and then going out for a drink afterwards. That was what they would have done back then. So I don't know how the reception is going to be, so just come with me. Let's see if we can walk with you through these tunnels. And these tunnels were built by Trajan because he came here at a later time. This is a 5th, 6th century city when it was built, BC. Trajan is going to be much later. He's going to be 1st century, 2nd century AD, so 180. Does that make sense? Okay. Who comes after Trajan? The reason I said Hadrian is that's Hadrian. So this is part of the period of the Roman Empire when the emperors are building beautiful things and leaving all of the things that we see today in Rome or any other fantastic Roman city. So let's go have a walk here and see if we can catch up with my group. Hats off to Taylan, by the way. He's a fantastic guide. We've been having a marvelous, marvelous time. But I betcha, and actually I'm curious, do you realize how much Greek history there is in Turkey? Because this whole coastal area was Greece. So they're not separate countries. Greece and Turkey have a lot in common. So come with me down here. Let's see if I can catch up with everyone. Ah, look at that. So this Roman arcaded system here is just a structure so that they could build on top of the mountain. So let's go catch up with Taylan and have a listen to what he's talking about today.
Whatever is in between to make it stronger and to give flexibility. Okay. So that's why you see those, not only here, every Roman site that you go to, you will be seeing that. So, this is where we are, this is the complex, and an impressive, very impressive architectural work of Romans. Keep going.
So you can see that's where we are. And this giant temple up here to Trajan. This is just basically like the foundation. So we're walking through the tunnel and look at how massive the tunnel is. And if you do, you can understand how massive the temple must have been. Nice little pile of runes there. he was just mentioning it. And we're back. Went through a little tunnel there. Now we are at the top of that theater that I was at showing you before. And that's looking back towards where we were. You can see this massive stone masonry. That was a very common type of building for the Romans and the Greeks. Acanthus leaves. You know, when you see acanthus leaves, that's Roman. This is a really impressive site. To get up here, we had to take a cable car way above the city of Pergamon. So Pergamon and Pergamon is the ancient city name. So we're approaching what was probably the ancient agora, or the town square. This colonnade looks like it's rectangular or square, which is what tells me that it was most likely a marketplace. So for those of you just joining me, we are still in Turkey on our Turquoise Coast of Turkey tour. We are now in the town of Bergamo, which has the magnificent ancient site of ancient Pergamon, one of the greatest Greek cities, where many of the famous Greek philosophers and scientists and artists worked. And their great altar, which should be over here, is gone because the Germans took it. It's in their museum.
You just have to go to the edge. So think that this is the Temple of Athena right here, where we have the olive tree, and you're walking around, and you're hearing something. People are cheering, maybe, or you're just hearing a play, or someone acting down below, not from the down there somewhere in the valley, because it echoes from here and just bounces from the other side of the valley. So when you come to the edge, you're going to see like 10,000 people, around 10,000. Actually, it is.
Yeah, about 10,000 now.
10,000 people. But it was a little less than that. Maybe capacity, about a 30-degree angle. Yes.
Holy cow, that's really steep.
Calm down a little bit more, then you can understand what I mean.
Just keep going. I'm not going. I'm not going to go too deep.
Pergamon. Do you remember when we talked about the theaters? I said Roman theaters will be mainly built, if they are built in the Roman time period, mainly built on arches, or it could be like Colosseum, freestanding, or partially freestanding. But the Greek theaters uses the natural aspects, the elevation, and the hill. So this is mainly carved along the hillside. It works well. So they said, since we have this perfect terrain, let's build a theater. So that's what they did. They built the theater by carving seats. Mainly, majority of the seats were actually carved, not built, but carved along the hill here. But 10,000 people capacity. This is a very good example of an early theater, early Greek theater in the area. Down there, I showed you the Dionysus, the temple for Dionysus. That was for the artistic inspirations, important. Bacchus, the god of wine. And you can see some of the pieces, which was a smaller stage building that was added by the Romans later on. Perfect location. We used to have little theaters and festivals taking place in here. Not anymore. It's been found out that it's actually, the vibrations is not that good. I think they might be doing a philosophy meeting and a theatrical meeting here annually, but that's it. Okay, now let's go under the beautiful tree, the olive tree of the Athena temple. libation.
In the Rebel, you can see a column here, and you can tell that this was part of a much larger column because there's the hole there. That hole would have had a pin in it, and that's how these columns were stuck together. You can see down there a similar one with a hole as well. And that's looking back towards the understructure that we just walked through. Look at this. Ancient Greek or Roman drainage. You can see these terracotta pipes. So this would have been part of their sewage system, or freshwater system could have been. Probably sewage. Freshwater was often transported in lead pipes.
It's in remembrance of Bacchus, yes. What we're going to do, we're going to first, in the remembrance of Bacchus and in the remembrance of Athena.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
This is called libation to gods and goddesses. That's what I'm doing. Welcome to Pergamon.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Good. Perfect place.
Yes, beautiful. Wow, sure.
So I think that you need to understand that Turkey and Greece are kind of not separate places. In our minds they are, because they're different countries. However, the entire coast of Greece that we have been exploring for the past 10 days, the coast of Turkey, is all full of Greek sites. Because back in those days they didn't have borders like we do today. So a lot of people will plan a trip to Greece so they can see all the great temples, but what they don't realize is Greece was a very large area, spreading from Sicily all the way over to the western coast of Turkey. So this should give you reason to come to Turkey. A few reasons to come to Turkey. 1, amazing Greek sites that you won't even see in Greece. 2, very, very affordable. And 3, incredibly comfortable. The infrastructure here is great. Transportation is very good. The hotels have been wonderful. The food is very good. So many, many reasons for you to come and travel here in Turkey. If you haven't considered it yet, you really should. But for me, as an architect and history geek, this is what I'm excited about. We've seen the temple to Apollo at Didyma. We saw Ephesus, which is the great Roman city that I showed you the other day. And now sort of the highlight, the way to kind of finish this tour in style, Pergamon, which has been on my bucket list for a long time. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walk around Pergamon, just to give you a little flavor of one of these incredibly beautiful Turkish Greek archaeological sites. Thanks for joining me. We'll have more later from Izmir. Şerefe.